Howdy, y'all. I'm Angela, you're watching Hobby Night, and today I'm gonna be painting up some gunslinging heroines from Shadows of Brimstone. A mighty fine thank y'all to the fine folks over at Flying Frog Productions for sending me these lovely ladies I'll be painting for y'all today. Now, the three models we'll be slapping color on today happen to be alternative characters you can play as in the core game of Shadows of Brimstone, and feature a heroic rancher, a sinister gunslinger, and a beautiful senorita. All characters I have an appreciation for due to my recent forays into the Mojave Wastes and the American deserts of Red Dead. After giving these little poppets an old scrubbing in the wash basin out back to clean off any of that release agent, let's head inside and talk about a fancy technique called Grisaille, which we're going to use to highlight and shadow these buckarettes. Chaos Cultist, what the heck is a buckarette? Because these girls come from a dirty, dusty Wild West setting and not an oily, dark sci-fi future, I'm going to be basing their shadows in a deep, dark brown rather than a black. No non-oil here today. Instead, I'm going to be using a Seraphim Sepia wash over a Wraithbone base. We're going to let this dry thoroughly before applying a second wash so that we can emphasize the recesses of the miniature. After all three girls have had plenty of time to dry, I'm going to come back in with a stiff bristled brush with some Wraithbone on it and carefully dry brush the entirety of each miniature. This is going to give us some lovely highlights for later without us having to actually edge every surface. It was really important that I waited for the wash to fully dry before doing this dry brush, because if it had still been wet, the dry brush would have smeared that paint and caused some problems. Don't ask me how I know. The first of the three girls looks like a cattle rancher, and I'm envisioning her to be the most heroic of the three, so I'm going to paint her in a classic white hat motif. To begin, I'm giving her trousers a dark yellow tone using Agros Dune for her leathers. This is going to contrast nicely to the black leather trousers that I'm giving the chick holding the two revolvers. Finally, for the senorita, I want her to be a desert rose, so I'm going to coat her skirt in Magos purple. Then I'm going to apply a second coat of the same color, but emphasizing it into the recesses so I emphasize the shadows. The cattle rancher's shirt read to me as a heavy denim, and in the past I've used ultramarine blue to achieve my denims, but this time I went with Pilar Glacier. My reasoning? It was a lighter, thinner paint that allowed me to apply a wash over top to create better shadows and darken the color while leaving that front panel a bit soft so that it has a little bit of contrast. For the gunslinger, I returned to the black that we used on her leather pants, this time applying it to her outer jacket. This pushes her further into that baddie territory. However, we do want to separate the space between her jacket and her pants, so we're going to go ahead and paint her white blouse using Trooper White. This white illustrates the strength of the Grisaille technique that we applied to the miniatures at the beginning. You can continue to see it as I apply the same white to the senorita's blouse, and you can see that there are natural shadows and highlights with very minimal effort. In order to achieve that heroic white hat look without looking like Buster Scruggs, I'm going for a pale leather color tone. And when I think pale leather, I think thinned snakebite leather, which works great on both the holster as well as boots and, of course, the hat of our rancher. Our bad girl received an appropriately black hat, but for her boots, I wanted to go with a darker leather brown color tone. In order to achieve this, I went with Gargax Sewer, but then switched back over to snakebite leather for the rest of her accessories, as well as all the leather belts and the boots on the senorita. Hey guys, I'm just jumping into the video to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content that you find here. And if you're into the spicier side of the hobby, then I invite you to join my VIP page. New subscribers get 50% off their first month's subscription. I hope to see you there. Now, let's go ahead and get back to the video. For the oh my god. The accessories on the Gunslinger and Senorita allowed me to pull in some colors I hadn't used yet. For the Gunslinger, this meant a crimson red, this time portrayed by Blood Angel's red, and I used this on her glorious sash as well as the ribbon on her hat. As for our dancer, I gave her turquoise accessories and I used croc score scales to achieve this. Our three lethal ladies' weapons will be treated similarly to each other, with considerations made for their type. That means every wood stock or handle is painted up in wildwood brown, while the rest of the gun is painted up in basilicanum gray to give me a nice saturated gray hue. And after that gray is dry, I'm going to come back in with an opaque metallic color tone and go ahead and dry brush all of the raised edges on their guns so they have a nice little glint of a metallic gleam. With their clothes complete, I'm turning my attention to their skin tones. The Rancher and Gunslinger, I'm aiming for a Caucasian skin tone, so I'm going to keep the existing shadows that I have, but I'm going to apply Dorado skin to the raised areas of their faces, arms, and legs. For the Senorita, I want to achieve a Hispanic skin tone, so I'm going to first apply Magos Purple to her exposed face, arm, and leg. After which, I'm going to glaze on a dark brown color tone, topaz skin, to achieve the final look I'm going for. I tried to match their hair color to the personalities I assigned them in my headcanon. Our Rancher received the stereotypical heroic blonde color tone using Nazdrag yellow, which ended up turning into a nice strawberry color tone because of the Grisaille we applied at the beginning. Our fiery Gunslinger, of course, had to be a redhead, so for this I pulled out Griffhound Orange and applied 2 thin coats. And finally, for the Senorita, I chose a deep chocolate brown color tone that almost looked black. And you know, only now do I realize I kind of painted the Powerpuff Girls as cowgirls. Neat. Finally, because these miniatures are for a board game and not a war game, I simply blacked the girls' bases, and now we can take a look at the finished miniatures. By golly, I think I did a quite swell job on these fine cowgirls. Do let me know what you think down in the comments. But genuinely, I enjoyed the heck out of not only making this video, but also getting to paint these particular girls. I have been obsessed with just Western culture, the Wild West right now. I'm playing Red Dead, I've been playing Fallout New Vegas. I'm really loving that aesthetic right now. And so when I saw that I had these in my collection, I was like, it is time. I need to paint these cowgirls. So Flying Frog Productions, again, thank you so much for sending me not only the core set, but these alternative characters for me to play as well. I can't wait to dive into the game. If you guys enjoyed this episode, do make sure to subscribe, give the video a like, and I want to give a huge, huge thank you not only to Flying Frog Productions for sending me the product for today that I painted, but also to you guys, specifically my patrons and YouTube members, for helping me make videos like this one that you're watching today. Without your guys' support, we would not be able to do this, so thank you very, very much. I have been Angela, and I hope to see y'all next time.